basis, Naas should be considered a Tier 1 growth town rather than what it has been downgraded to as in the current proposal on the regional spatial and economic strategy, from where it is as a Tier 1 growth town to what it is just as a growth town. The important thing too as well is that there is planning permission for over 2,500 houses to be built, and if those houses are built, it will mean that Naas will have reached the population targets that are as set out in the regional spatial and economic strategy. When we consider what Naas is, it is an economic zone that is outside of Dublin. It is the only one that's been proposed that there is no regional growth centre between Dublin and Cork or Dublin and Limerick. And that is a huge major corridor between the three main cities in this country. So Naas needs to be upgraded to a regional growth centre, not unlike Dundalk or Drogheda or Athlone, because of the fact that it is a growth centre with regard to employment and not being seen as a town which is a commuter town. Also within the area there are many. Back in the 1970s, it was designated under Miles Wright's report that this should be an economic zone. And I've shown here with the figures that there are 11,500 people actually working in the Naas town. So therefore, from that perspective, it needs to be not alone maintain its status, but also upgraded to a regional centre too as well. So Minister, I hope you would have something to say to me with regard to the fact that we need to maintain Naas where it is as a Tier 1 growth town, and if possible, could we get it upgraded to a regional growth town? Thank you.
Minister. Thanks, O'Hara. And again, I want to thank Senator Anthony Lawler for raising this issue today and having a discussion around it to bring some clarity to the matter as well. First of all, I want to thank and welcome the opportunity to provide clarity to address the potential for any misunderstanding that may have arisen. We've had some discussion around Project 2040 and the regional plans in the Dáil, and I do think we actually need to have more discussion both in this House and at committee and at the Dáil as well to actually tease out what we're trying to achieve here with the rollout of Project 2040 and with the regional plans which roll into county plans as well, because there is a little bit of confusion out there as well, and people talk of limits of ambition, which we're not trying to do at all. The designation in which Senator Lawler refers, that of Tier 1 large growth town, forms part of the regional planning guidelines for the Greater Dublin area, which, as well as the 4 Dublin local authority areas, also includes the 3 mid-eastern counties of Kildare, Meath and Wicklow. Those guidelines are now being superseded by a new draft regional strategy, and this may have resulted in some confusion. For the record, I want to clarify that the designation Tier 1 large growth town, which had been used in previous publications, has been discontinued. In the new draft regional strategy, such areas are now designed as a key town designated as a key town to simplify matters, so they're not being downgraded at all. I want to allay your fears of that too, because I understand that you're genuinely concerned here for the future of Naas and are very much committed to that as well, as are we as a planning department as well, and see Naas as an essential town. It's a key town of Kildare and of the region as well.
I appreciate what the Minister says, that the key towns is the same terminologies now as Tier 1. We need to get clarification on the definition of that. But the problem is that associated with Tier 1 towns population targets, I'm worried that they're going to change, and as a result of that, the impetus with regard to creating employment in the whole area will be lost. So as far as I'd be concerned, if we don't get the population's targets, house prices will rise as a result of that. The incentive to set up Naas as a key economic driver for the whole of the Kildare, that region in Kildare, will be lost too as well.
Thank you. Briefly, Minister.
Again, thanks, Senator Lawler, for today's debate here, and I'm happy to engage with you over the months ahead as I try and get this right. But again, the population targets are based on the ESRI data, but we do believe there's enough headroom and space in the Kildare figures and in the various towns. But that's something that we can monitor during the next couple of weeks as we try to bring this process to an end.
Thank you very much.